Hey everyone, so a bit later than normal, but we've had a fair shake-up with the last patch 8.16. As always, I've been stalking Korea though, creeping around, finding some new picks that are a lot better and a lot of fun and actually a bit different. Especially the last pick of the video, I think you'll like that one, but we're going to jump into something I've been seeing a lot more of as well to start this one, which is Rengar top lane. This is actually top 5 at the moment in Korea, and there are a ton of different weird builds with this one that you can take. Well, to be fair, actually, there is obviously the standard assassin that you can go, like Dustspade, Ghost Spade, and Storm Razor with Electrocute. The 3 of those items and that rune combo is just like one shot. It's so good. But actually you can also go tank, like you go full tank, like Sunfire, Cleaver, Titanic Visage, like with Grasp and stuff like that. You stack a lot of health and you rely on your base damage more. You can actually also throw a little bit of AP in there as well and grab a Zhonya's in the kind of bruisery build to make you even harder to kill and to heal a little bit better. It is so weird, but if you cannot fight him in the lane phase, if he is stronger like to start with, which he probably is going to be, then he'll zone you all day from the bushes. You get close, he's going to jump on you. With these builds I'm talking about as well, he's actually not amazing early game. I guess it's kind of the same for jungle really, but he gets a lot better later when he can start to one-shot people a lot more, or just kind of survive, I guess, forever if he goes a tank build. I kind of want to show you the grass build for this one. Obviously you kind of know what assassins look like, right? But the weird build for this one is going grasp to trade and revitalize to heal more from your W. Then you go cleaver as your first item, you go visage, and you go Zhonya's after that. You can actually swap around and go Zhonya's second if you really want to, but it is a lot of healing and a surprising amount of damage. You can run him standard assassin if you want to. Either way, it's a bit of a different top lane pick and actually really good. So the second one is Leona. The buff was pretty nuts recently and she's one of the best supports now in the entire game, I think. I'm going to explain it very quickly because this even went over my head a little bit. So your W now has a 10-second cooldown when you max it out, right? Which is reduced by cooldown reduction down to like a 6-second cooldown with 40%. When you have that active, you obviously get bonus armor and magic resist for 3 seconds, right? But that's actually another 3 seconds on top of that if you damage an enemy with the explosion part. Just look at this on screen, right? Your cooldown is 6 seconds. You get 6 seconds of bonus armor and magic resist bonus. So you legitimately have 100% uptime now in a team fight as long as you hit somebody with the explosion. My armor and magic resist shoots up and that is going to stay there as well. And then you add in aftershock stat bonuses when you first engage and it makes you way tankier than before. Item wise, you're also going to have your Zeke's Herald and you're going to have your passive with that. So you actually provide a lot of damage, like a lot of damage for your AD carry. 2v2, it's insane. She is the best support as well at winning games before 30 minutes in Korea, which I guess is no real surprise there. You have the engage that you can really use in the lane phase and then continue to use in the mid game. Apart from being just an insane engaged champion anyway, you can lock them down, but you don't actually die when you dive in anymore. Like you might, but it's going to take a very long time. So everybody is always asking me about Kalista. Since I used to play her a lot on the channel, is she bad? Or, you know, can you at least play her? At least in Korea, yes, you can. And you can do pretty well, actually, as well. Kalista is an early game beast this patch, but she does actually do decently well through the mid game at the same time. It just gets a little bit harder. With burst leaving the meta just a little bit and tanks kind of coming back at the same time, the Rage Blade build, by the way, is amazing on her. It's so good. Blade and Runins obviously is really good DPS anyway, but great at healing as well because you heal on all 3 of those bolts. And then you have the Rage Blade on top of that to shred even harder after. It makes you really good at taking like Dragon or Baron and even killing a tank. They also use this double healing rune setup. So not only do you have loads of lifesteal in your items, but in Domination you have Ravenous and you also have Taste of Blood. Basically, you're going to be healing a ton whenever you get into a fight, which is obviously really good because you do need a bit of time. It's still not going to be like an easy game, like a Misfortune or something, but it is doable. Try to avoid Misfortune actually 100%, which is really bad for you, but pick a strong support with Kalista and you should be okay for any other lane. She isn't going to be like insane, but she is top 5 win rate at the moment so far in Korea, and the shift away from everybody playing assassins definitely helped. So we did kind of call this one already a little bit. Korea started using Rammus last patch, but now he's actually top 3. We just don't really have that many ways to deal with Rammus anymore. Like deal with a tank really that does so much damage at the same time. It's not just his damage, even though that is good. It's the damage from Thornmail bouncing back to you, I guess, on top of that. The build is Cinderhulk straight into a Thornmail, and then you adapt to the game really. But with Aftershock on top, it's really tough to break through. The issue is really that you need 2 things to beat a Thornmail. Lifesteal to heal back the damage, and then the arm penetration to actually get get through the armor and do any damage. But how many builds have you seen nowadays that have both of those early into the game? The Taunt Lockdown is also a really good counter to like any more flashy champion that kind of wants to make an outplay or like make a play, I guess, which is a lot of the meta at the moment with assassins, and you can't really afford to buy a QSS if you actually want to kill him as well. At least in Korea, like there is no obvious weak spot in the game to abuse at the moment. His early is okay, but then he brings engage and a beefy frontline as you go into the mid game. If you're trying to beat a champion like this, by the way, as a jungler, you're better off picking something like a Graves or a Jax that can kind of deal with it, or another tank jungler. But if you have a full AD team versus a Rammus, you probably just want to dodge. Now, the other tank we're seeing a lot of is Sion, and he's probably now back to the best top laner, or one of them at least, at the very least. He gets way tankier now with the buffs in 8.16. You get more permanent health when you kill a minion, especially the big ones. Also, though, he was buffed in 8.14 to increase the minimum and the maximum base damage on his Q, and to use up to 30% more of your AD in there. So what we have now is a mega tanky frontliner who gets more health, who uses E to poke and Q to slam with that extra damage. Korea does abuse that, actually, and they max their Q now while building full tank, and they also use this new build Glacial Augment. The idea is that you hit them to slow them, and then you charge your Q to get a knock up, and you keep them there. They can't really get away unless they like flash or have a dash or something. Obviously, you can stack more health with Grasp if you want to. You can poke a bit more with Comet as well, but the Glacial build is really smart with the current playstyle and the buffs on his Q. Sion is a tank though, right? He's similar to Rammus anyway, provides pretty good engage, but he just doesn't die. He does damage, and that is why, at least in Korea, his win rate is very high until like mega late game. I guess he just kind of crowds out damage picks right now top lane. They can't really kill him before he kills them. That is kind of what it comes down to, really. So if we look at the mid lane, Cassio is the only kind of surprise, I guess. I think this patch she's been getting better though, like over the past few patches as well. The game has slowed down a tiny bit, which lets her get to her items, and obviously as Cassio, you can get up to 6 proper items, right? So you want a bit of time. She's very good versus mages though, who she can bully, just not best versus assassins, which took a bit of a hit this patch, so we aren't seeing as many of them, and obviously they're banned a lot. The build they go is really annoying to play against though. It's Archangels and then Rylai's into Leandries and stuff like that. Basically, you slow everybody, you get pretty tanky, you have health, and you have a shield as well, and you still do good damage with more poison and more burning on top of that. She also actually uses this domination heal build that we talked about with the runes and stuff. Taste of Blood and Ravenous together is pretty nuts on her, especially for the sustain, like over and over. From what I can see as well, it's kind of like Ahri is a bit even, like pretty even anyway. You can win it, you can lose it. You want to avoid champions like a LeBlanc or a Fizz, but you should be pretty solid with the rest of the meta. She's a bit more mechanical than most, bit more like attack your keyboard, I guess, but pretty cool to pick up. And I guess as you learn her as well, you improve your mechanics way more than other champions would. So let's have a look at Twitch quickly. Misfortune, Jinx, and Draven are all still like top of the roll, really, but Twitch is sneaking his way up there at the same time, kind of like quietly though. He's actually become the best late game AD carry now this season in Season 8. He wins more than any other if the game reaches the 35-minute mark. The price you're going to pay is that you're going to have it rough for the first 25, but it's not something that you can't manage. You just have to rely on your team a little bit more than others, and having a strong lane support like a Nami, for example, to help you is really, really important. There are so many builds to choose from though, so I'm going to run you through a couple of them. So you can go Blade first, which helps your lane phase with the lifesteal. It might not be like the 100% most damage, but it does help you survive as well. Stormrazor Rush instead is more glass cannon, but it is more damage, more burst, so going full crit after that as well gives you a really good team fight. Or you can go this crit build that I talked about a little while ago, a few videos ago. BF Sword into Zeal, and then you finish your Infinity Edge or you finish your Runins. Either way is fine, and then Shiv afterwards for a 3-item 100% crit build. That actually might be the best way now of doing it at the moment. You sacrifice a bit of early power for an insane mid game. I know not everybody wants to fight and go ham in the lane phase, so if you want something a bit more late game, a bit more relaxed, Twitch is probably the best choice we have at the moment. Now, I did say I saved the most fun pick till the very end of the video, so before Nunu gets reworked, here is the full AP build that you could dick around on. Riot have consistently buffed his AP side of things to stop you building full tank and taking the boring route but still being a buff machine. Well, Korea kind of heard that, I guess, and now the only build they play really is Arcane Comet, Runic Echoes, Morello, and even more AP like a Deathcap or Zhonya's after. Currently though, he is one of the best junglers in the entire game. He can control the jungle, steal everything, and do a ton of damage. When I clicked on him as like a top 3 win rate, I thought it was going to be full tank, but it's actually full AP. Normally it's kind of the slow that you have to worry about when you play against tank Nunu, right? He'll run at you kind kind of like waste your time, slow your attack speed, and you'll just survive forever. With this, you lose a third of your health from a snowball, to be honest. So it's actually like he is going to kill you like 100%. This isn't something that will scale into the game as much as you would like it to, but early game, the snowball damage is way out of whack. It's ridiculous. You can obviously only play this for another 10 days or something, so jump on it straight away before his rework, but still a good bit of fun actually, and really strong. Another really cool thing with this, obviously you have good objective control, you can buff your AD and stuff, but you actually demolish towers with this build now after they let you turn more of your AP into tower damage a few patches ago. So that wraps up your look into career for 8.16. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know which one was your favorite down below. I like the video. If you did, make sure to subscribe as well for some more lovely League of Legends content. But for now, I will leave you with the robots.